Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020, so ready that time, meeting of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. My name is David Campos, and I'm proud to be the chair of the committee, and we're meeting here tonight at the auditorium of the Mission Neighborhood Centers. And again, we want to thank Santiago Ruiz, the executive director, as well as Leo Carrillo, the deputy director, who have hosted us tonight. Thank you, MNC, and it's good to be back in the Mission. And this is our first meeting of the year 2020, which is such an important year for us as San Francisco Democrats. So with that, we will begin by asking our secretary, Member Passache, to call the roll. Great. Member Alexander. Member Alexander, proxy. Member Aliota. Present. Member Baraka. Member Bryant. Member Campos, present. Member Chan. Member De Jesus. Member Duffy. Member Fewer is excused. Member Galata. Here. Member Groff. Member Groff, proxy. Member Francis Shea. Member Ponce. Member Jones. Member Kim. Member Lacroix. Member Lowe. Member Mahogany. Member Vandelman. Member Maxwell. Member Norton. Member Souza. Member Walton. Senator Dianne Feinstein. Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Congresswoman Jackie Spear. Lieutenant Governor Eleni Pinelakis. Treasurer Fiona Ma. Board of Equalization Chair Malia Cohen. State Senator Scott Wiener. Assemblymember Phil King. Assemblymember David Chu. We have a quorum. Thank you very much. Again, this is our first meeting of 2020. We'll begin following the roll call item number 2, which is the approval of the meeting agenda. Colleagues, you have the agenda before you. Any motion to accept? Motion to approve by Member Aliotto. Is there a second? Second by Member Maxwell. Any comments or questions or objections? Seeing none, can we take that without objection? Without objection, the agenda is approved unanimously. Item number 3, approval of the minutes of the December 2019 endorsement meeting. Colleagues, you have the minutes before you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Maxwell, second by Sousa. Are there any comments or changes to the minutes? Seeing none, can we take that motion without objection? Without objection, the minutes of the December 11, 2019 meeting are approved. Now we'll go up to item number 4, and one of the most important things we do in this body is to hear from our San Francisco Democrats, and of course the meeting is being live streamed. I do want to note, and I'll be is someone that we recently hired to serve as our new executive director, and that is Karina Lynch, and you're going to be hearing from her very shortly. Karina is, you'll hear more about Karina, but we're very excited to have her on board. So with that, let me read the names of the speakers. And what I would ask is we have actually a mic that's in front of Member Aliotto that we're going to use as the mic for members of the public. We're going to put it next to the table we're live streaming. And what I would ask is if people could please line up as I call your name. And pursuant to our rules, each of you has up to 2 minutes to speak. And to be fair, we want to make sure that people, respect that limit so that everyone gets the same opportunity. And as I call your name, please line up. Andrew Blackman, Alicia Santorio, Leslie Goldberg, Michael Goldberg, Jordan Davis, Ian Barker Plummer, and John Crowley. Go ahead, please.
Thank you.
Hello, members of the San Francisco Democratic Party. My name is Andrew Blackman. I am one of your 20 DNC members. I have the great privilege of serving with Christine and 18 others on the DNC. In this March, we will be having elections in Visalia, so re-election and election of DNC members. So I have been to 11 regional meetings so far this year. I've tried to get to more counties. Because I got my start actually through the ADEMs and being a Central Committee member out of Los Angeles. I was an alternate for my congressman, and as a young Democrat officer, elected the executive board and co-chaired a committee and a caucus before becoming a DNC member. But I do remember having gotten my start as an ADEM on the county committees, the importance of the work that we all do at the county level. And even though I worked for the state senate, and I also worked for the second greatest member of Congress in California. I was legislative director for Congressman Ted Lieu, and probably the best Twitter out there, we'll say that much. But I've always kept in mind that our job is to represent you. And so sometimes that means pushing back, whether it means standing behind efforts like Christine's efforts to make sure that this national party stops taking special interest money, especially from fossil fuels, that we have substantial debate on climate change. I was proud to be supportive of that effort as well. I'm also the chair of the Small Business Owners Council with the DNC, which is a relatively new council. When I started, we had one caucus, California, because we're first in everything. We now have 15 caucuses. We now have webinars. We're fighting back against the Republican lie that they care about anybody but big business. And we're fighting back in the chambers, and with your all effort and help, we're going to show that California is a leader in working with small businesses, just as the Democratic Party has stood up to grow small businesses, while the Republicans have cut off microloan programs and forgotten that small businesses are started by women and people of color in this country. And I speak from my own experience that my mother-in-law, who's a Guatemalan immigrant, started her own daycare thanks to a small business loan. I'm proud to have over 165 endorsements to date, in addition to Chris, Susan, and Julie.
Thank you.
I would love to have your support, and thank you for standing behind us. Let us know what we can do.
And you have here, Karina has a card that will give you notice when you have a minute, 30 seconds before you can please respect.
And Mr. Chair, thank you for not having an electrical shock plate. Appreciate it.
We're not very close. We have a few more names. Susan Pfeiffer, Austin Hunter, Rodrigo Tukataba. And I apologize if I mispronounced that. Please go right ahead. Ms. Davis.
Hi, my name is Jordan Davis. I'm a District 6 resident, and usually I'm here being a rabble rouser and housing rights, and I endorse DXC is one of the leading animal rights activist groups out there. They could help to rescue sick and dying animals on factory farms, which are often very cruel, that they mistreat animals. When last speaker mentioned climate change, like animal agriculture is greatly contributing to climate change, and what's happening right now is, and I'm in support of this resolution, and I want to thank Member Bryant and Ralph, we kind of got two people from different parts of the Democratic Party to support this. Here is 6 people.
My Jones is doing voter registration, due to the new citizen swearing in ceremonies in Oakland, and they had another one today. They did 2 of them last week, another one this morning, so I'm a little bleary from getting there at 6:30 this morning to get parking. But we registered 87 new voters this morning. Most of them brand new. And last week we did 332, 174 in the morning, and I think 120.
Charlie Spiegel. Next speaker, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Austin Hunter. I'm here to talk about the Democratic Party bylaws actually, and specifically the $500 limit that is based on this race and the violations that have taken place. To start, I'm going to quote former Assemblymember Tom Armiano. This is hardly an overlooked existential crisis. This is the time we are not observing this moral and progressive path. This is multiple members. They're running on a slate that said that they wanted to take corporate money out of politics, and I don't see those slate members. If this DCCC says that their own bylaws are not something that should be followed by sanctioning those members and those people running, what is the point of your bylaws? Where do you have the authority? So I am asking that this DCCC, at minimum, pass
Good evening. My name is John Frohnmeyer. I'm a Democrat and an attorney and a member of the group Direct Action Everywhere that Jordan Davis just mentioned. And I'm one of the felony defendants that the resolution pending before this body is voting on the support. And I just wanted to give a little bit of color about the actions that have led to the charges that we're facing. So for the last several years, we have gone into factory farms, places where tens or even hundreds of thousands of animals are crammed into sheds to be raised for slaughter. And in many cases, we found animals who were sick, injured, on the verge of death. And we supplied evidence of those conditions to a number of authorities, and in no case did they ever agree to meet with us or to follow up on any of our reports. And we obtained a legal opinion from Hidara Viram, who's a professor at UC Hastings and currently doing a program at Harvard, that said that anyone has the right to, if animals are being denied food and water, to enter into facilities where they're in those conditions and provide them with aid, including possibly rescue. And so on the basis of that opinion, we took 3 actions, and we rescued close to 100 animals, and 148 individuals were arrested, and now 6 of us face felony charges. And it would just mean a great deal to have the support from this body. Animal rights is an increasingly winning political issue. Some people might know that in 2018, San Francisco became the first major city in the world to ban the sale of fur. And just a few months ago, the state of California followed suit, becoming the first state. And so we increasingly recognize. Yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Alicia Santorio. I'm a resident of San Francisco, and I'm also with Direct Action Everywhere. For the last 4 years, I have been one of the activists walking into these farms, and every time, every farm, we have seen horrific cruelty. And like John just mentioned, we report what we find. We show so many different authorities, we show them evidence of what we find, and they don't do anything. And now, not only are they not doing anything to the animal abusers, but they are threatening my friends with, I think, up to 10 years in prison. And so I'm just here to urge you to please support this resolution, condemn the charges, and thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Let me read a few more names. Harvey Armstrong. So you know? And I apologize if I mispronounced that. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Leslie Goldberg, and I'm too against Direct Action Everywhere. And I just want to fill in a little bit about what was said. After notifying the police, Animal Care and Control, the Sonoma County District Attorney, and even the State Attorney General, criminal animal cruelty occurring on 3 different factory farms in Sonoma County, and no response. So activists entered these farms, hundreds of activists entered these farms where this cruelty was going on to give aid to dying and suffering animals. Animals so sick that they didn't have access to food or water. And police showed up with their helicopters, with their SWAT teams, with their weapons, with everything. And instead of investigating the conditions that was occurring on these farms. They arrested over 100 activists, and 7 of those activists are still facing misdemeanor charges, and as was said, 6 activists are facing felony charges. And if they're convicted, they could go to prison for 8 years. This is a terrible waste of human resources, and it's misusing our criminal justice system to further corporate interests, where you have law enforcement acting as the arm of these corporations. And so consequently, I would urge you to condemn these prosecutions and to not allow the corporate powers of Sonoma County to use our criminal justice system in this way. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a few more names: Alex Wong, Noah Grisham Lancaster, Alec Bash.
Mr. Chair, can I just ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
What are the charges? What are the felony charges other than trespassing?
So maybe if there, at some point during public comment, people who are speaking to that issue, maybe you can talk about that.
Thank you.
Please continue.
Right now, 6 Bay Area-based animal rights activists are being prosecuted on multiple felony charges, each in Sonoma County, and another 7 have been charged with misdemeanors. Their crimes, in some cases, simply trying to provide food and water to starving and dehydrated chickens who were so sick they were near death. In other cases, the activists had done nothing but come with other activists to provide support for acts of compassion towards the chickens. In the last month or so, the Berkeley City Council passed a resolution condemning the Sonoma prosecutions, and I'm here with other activists to ask you to do the same. Why is this relevant to San Francisco? The farms where the activists were arrested sell their dead animals and eggs to San Francisco stores, so this is directly relevant to San Francisco residents. Numerous investigations have shown that animals are being abused at farms in Sonoma County. Criminal animal cruelty is taking place, but the authorities do nothing. Instead of investigating the farms, they arrest animal rights activists. Californians have demonstrated repeatedly at the ballot box that they care about so-called farm animals. I hope you will show your support by passing the right to rescue resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Ewan Baldwin. I'm a youth activist here in San Francisco, and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because it has now become apparent that members of this body, as they campaign for re-election to this body, have been accepting more than their fair share. According to DCCC bylaws, candidates can take a maximum of $500 from an individual for their campaign. Multiple people running, sitting here today, have taken much more than $500 so that they can easily secure a seat on this body in March, while the grassroots activists have followed the rules. The party that represents everyday Americans shouldn't be led by a committee that only got there because they took big money. The party that practically controls SF politics shouldn't be led by a committee that only got there because they took big money. I'm calling on everyone in this race who has taken more than $500, the generous limit given to candidates for the DCCC, to return the money and their campaigns and apologize for taking more than their fair share. Thank you.
Member Leader, Stephen Mills, Stephen Buck, Paul Heston. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Rodrigo Cotetão with Democracy Action, and I don't know the agenda item number, but I'm speaking on behalf in support of the Volunteer Center. Democracy Action is a grassroots organization working to support the Democratic Party nationally by harnessing local personnel. We've run campaigns almost weekly for the last 4 years, calling for a variety of Democrats. James Thompson, the progressive in Kansas 4th District, Doug Jones, the Virginia legislature twice, Kirsten Sinema, Conor Lamb, among other candidates, and causes like voter registration in swing states. During the midterms, we partnered with the local chapters of Swing Left, Sister District, and Indivisible to create a grassroots office, the Resistance Headquarters at Heritage Gallows. For 2020, our work requires an office that allows the grassroots of San Francisco to work on the races and candidates of our choice. Democracy Action's focus will be on the Senate, and we would like the option to call for any race that engages new voters, expands the party, or is aligned with our grassroots values. In order to maintain our partnership with other local organizations, we must be able to call for races at all levels of government, including the state level. During the midterms, while both our headquarters and Red to Blue were often at capacity, we saw how splitting volunteers was less than optimal due to the additional work creating tech infrastructure, staffing to facilities, and the unnecessary confusion among volunteers. We look forward to living up to the challenge of once again making San Francisco a national powerhouse in fundraising and having the national impact our city is known for.
Thank you very much. Next speaker. Thank you.
My name is Ann Merrill. I'm with Left. And we want to thank you once again for your support. You agree with the report on our activities. Last week we started our canvassing season in Season 10, going out on 550 doors in Bristol. And we are currently working with the Wellness Sparkle Foundation and Voices to establish a civic engagement and community program in Kings County Season 21. We're also reaching out in support of the resolution to establish a Democratic volunteer hub here in San Francisco. We will really increase the efficiency of our efforts. As you may know, we support key races in the Democratic Party all up and down the ballot. And it really will make a difference to us if we have access to this kind of facility, this program.
Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair, Councilors, and committee members. My name is Sandy Wang. I'm a DCCC candidate for AD19. I'm here tonight to also talk about campaign contribution limits. I think we can all agree, everyone in this room, that when the Supreme Court passed Citizens United, it was a dark day for our democracy and increased the influence of special interests and corporate money. I think this body did the right thing in 2016 when it adopted into its bylaws the $500 individual campaign limits. And that's why I'm so disappointed today to see sitting in past supervisors who are openly flouting these limits.
We are facing a moral crisis nationally with the Republican Party turning a blind eye to corruption and corporate influence. We cannot afford to stoop to the same practices as our opponents, catering to special interests and the donor class.
When they go low, we're supposed to go high. Americans are already jaded. 1/3 of San Franciscan voters are not party affiliated, and they suspect our government is corrupt and responsive to financial backers. Let's prove them wrong. It goes without saying also that current and former elected officials and incumbents here have the greatest access to large donors. This creates an uneven playing field and shuts out grassroots candidates like myself and my city members.
The DCCC has historically been a pipeline to new leadership, and it can't play this role, and it allows
Sitting members to violate these bylaws and take large corporate checks. Now more than ever, we need to strengthen the Democratic Party, and we have to lead with conviction and moral clarity. As Elizabeth Warren has said, our democracy shouldn't be bought and paid for by the wealthy and powerful. I hope you can join me in modeling our progressive values. The Democratic Party is the party that stands by its commitment to fight the corrupt system of money for influence and push power back in the hands of the people. Thank you.
I'm going to read a few more names. Nick Pasquarello, Rosa Petrovsky, Nancy Tung. I really apologize if I mispronounced that name. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Siu Lo. I'm also a candidate for the AD19 DCCC. I'm here to talk about campaign finance reform. I remember how upset I was with Citizens United. It's not because it was just a limited amount of money, but when I look at my dad and my mom, who had to sell boxes of oranges just to get by, I look at them and I realize that unlimited donations really means we're taking away voices from the regular people like my family and myself. And I just have a question for all of us here, that is, as the Democratic Party, are we going to be a party with a big table with chairs for everybody, or a big tent in which everyone has their voice? Or are we going to be a Republican Party? I think that choice is clear, and I hope that the committee will take a stand, really took a 2016, and let's take a stand again to affirm that you believe in the bylaw, to reaffirm that you believe in the bylaw, and to reaffirm that you will enforce the bylaw. Thank you.
Next speaker, and I believe Mr. Wong is speaking as an officer from one of our target clubs, so the time limit is in play.
Yes, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Wong. I'm here on behalf of Corey Smith and Broken Personal Prisoners. I'm with the United Democratic Club. I'm here to, again, speak with everyone else that already spoke about regarding sort of gross poverty across the $500 contribution limit for C races. Back in September of 2016, when this measure was initially proposed, United Dems, along with several other Democratic clubs, all supported this measure. We all welcomed it. After all, we're the party of broad, small donors, we're the party of strong campaign finance, we're the party trying to get money into politics. So it is very disheartening to see that over the years that this rule has been continually ignored with no punishment and no consequences. What is the point of having this rule if it's not going to be enforced, if there's no repercussions for it at all? It would actually even be better if there was no contribution limit, because then we wouldn't be speaking out of both sides of our mouths and still making us look like hypocrites. This terrible image does nothing more than fuel the false narrative that Republicans and Democrats look the same, are the same when it comes to campaign financing. Obviously, I don't believe in that, and I think that goes against the spirit of the rule, and I think everyone else agrees with that as well. So, as a result, this path forward, we're hoping that this image will have an effect on volunteer recruitment with regards to voter contact, especially with young people who are already jaded with both parties. And this issue isn't about moderate progressive or elected versus grassroots. It's about what we're for. What are we for here? And so if we want the country to look up to us, then we need to get our house in order. And so I hope this body will do something to address this issue. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Henry Armstrong. I'm with Action SF, a small resistance group based in North Valley. And part of what we're doing is trying to elect Democrats in state and local and national elections. So I'm here in support of the bricks and mortar Democratic Volunteer Center that I hope you guys will support. And there's three reasons for that that I think I would encourage you guys to help us out. One is that people like me are using most of our time these days to try to change the country's political situation. I actually started a small PAC back in 2018, and now I'm working with TJ Cox's campaign in CA21 to try to help them do peer-to-peer fundraising to turn their supporters into fundraisers. So having a bricks and mortar place in San Francisco would help people like me to become more effective, to connect with other activists in San Francisco. The second thing is it would help connect the various dozens of resistance groups in San Francisco so that they would actually be able to coordinate their efforts and collaborate and to have more impact. And the third reason is that it would actually allow those people, the hundreds of people who are volunteers across San Francisco to connect with the San Francisco UCCC and connect the resistance activists with your efforts. So I think we're all trying to figure out how to use our time and limited resources most effectively to create change. And to me, this would be a way for you guys to make your investment pay off the maximum that you possibly can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Two more names: Barbara Coe, Nadia Rahman, Rocky Tao. Go ahead.
Just in case you have problems reading, it's Donald Trump in jail. Okay? From Mexico. And if you have trouble reading, look for Amy. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm following up on Henry and in support of Supervisor Maxwell's effort to create the brick and mortar headquarters for volunteers to export San Francisco activism and liberalism to places we can make a difference. I just want Haney would understate the work he does in creating a PAC and helping TJ Cox in the Central Valley in creating several websites that support these groups. It's really the model for this kind of effort, which is to say, we don't want to create new organizations, we want to support the organizations that are there. Pam, probably who's sitting next to him, would understate her role as an incredible graphics person who can put out flyers that we hand out at the Noe Valley Farmers Market that introduce other groups. We're not there to get people to volunteer for what we're doing. We're trying to promote all the other groups, Democracy, SF, Indivisible, etc. And just so you get a vision of it from that work at the farmers market, which could then lead volunteers to this effort. We worked in California, Congressional District 21. We flipped for TJ Cox by under 1,000 votes. We worked in California District 10, which we flipped to Josh Harder by many more votes. And we worked in Virginia where we flipped the legislature and adopted the ERA and moved to the gun regulation. So that's what this is. This is a small effort to move bigger and bigger and bigger and have a real impact. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to make the in-jail portion bigger. Mick Del Rosario, Christine Pelosi, Bear Falk. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I'm Alec Bass. I just want to say Charlie did a lot of transition all over the place, and I'm with Action SF and a number of different organizations as well. I'm not here to speak about the headquarters, but I will be doing that under item 5G as part of Sophie Maxwell's headquarters to space Democratic committee. But in the past, I've taken leadership roles in campaign offices for Kerry, Obama, Hillary. I did a lot at the Red Team Blue office when Christine Pelosi, and who managed to list a lot of good people there. Susan Pfeiffer, who was one of the office managers, along with your very own meetings. And my experience with the brick and mortar headquarters is that they really work. It's a home for people. It's a home for the activists. It's a place to become energized, activated, and we would not be proposing that there be a headquarters if we didn't think from our own experience that it works. So I want to thank the DCCC for its work with the Red Blue SF office in the last election, and for its past work in finding headquarters for us. Mary John, Mary Peston, we've always had support from the San Francisco DPIP, and we look forward to continuing that relationship with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Stephen Buss. I'm also a candidate running for District C in 2017. I'm running alongside some good grassroots candidates. I'm a first-time candidate, never done this before. I've been a local activist, but politics is new. So when I decided to run for District C back in June of 2019, I had a lot of questions. Talked to a lot of people, talked to a lawyer who volunteered his advice for free. And they said, I asked them about this $500 limit. I said, well, I read the state laws and it says there's no limit. The bylaws, they say $500, what should I do? And they said, well, you should obviously respect the limit. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense. I'm running to represent this body. I need to respect those rules. So I was the first person on the grassroots slate to file. And so I wrote instructions because, like I said, we're all first-time candidates. So I wrote on July 13th, 2019, it's on my GitHub if you want to go read the receipts. Email Act Blue Support requesting they set your maximum contribution to $500. July 16th, the DCCC in San Francisco has a self-imposed limit of $500 per person. And I gave these instructions to everyone running on the grassroots slate. The audience, if one of you was running for office and it said you can only raise $500, would you turn around and raise $5,000? I don't think any of you would. And yet, I come and look on the San Francisco Ethics website and see 4 people running for the so-called social justice slate who have accepted checks of $1,000 or more. in clear violation of bylaws, and yet you're doing nothing. You, Chair Gambros, have the ability to do something about it, and you're sitting on your hands. So, are we going to reject big money politics, or is it just something you say?
Next speaker, please. Next speaker. Go ahead. I'm going to read a few more names. Mike Ken, Katina Cohen, Craig Coaster, Angela A.
Good evening, Kelly. My name is Nicholas Moriel. I'm chair of the committee to restore mail notices. Last month, we informally asked the members of this body to approve a resolution directed to the Board of Supervisors and the Library Commission restoring mail notices to San Francisco Public Library patrons. This critically important part of the borrowing system was denied to 17,000 library patrons, virtually all of whom are low-income seniors and disabled, effective September of last year. It is worth noting that these 17,000 patrons are a small portion of the more than 120,000 San Franciscans the U.S. Census estimates do not have high-speed home internet. It was this population that the library staff targeted for exclusion from fundamental borrowing access. In other words, the library is figuratively shooting itself in the foot by discouraging thousands of San Franciscans from using one of our most critical public resources. This is a gentrification issue and an equity issue, and one theory is that this is part of a plan to privatize the San Francisco Public Library by forcing all users to involuntarily turn over their email addresses into the hands of the digital vendors we currently pay, on average, $3 million a year for access to. This disgraceful and unjustified cutback to our most vulnerable library users must be immediately restored, and I hope a resolution through this body will effectively help that happen. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Paul Hessinger, and I'm representing Stand Up San Francisco. And we've been working since we went into shock over the Trump election. We met in a room, they thought they'd get 15 people, we got 150 people, couldn't even fit in the room because we were meeting in a small library room. So we couldn't even fit everybody in that first day. I think we have 500 or 600 people in that group now, and it's only one of many, many groups around the country. I think it's a no-brainer that Sophie Maxwell's, and I'm not sure who else, I saw another name, but I only had time Peter. I only had time to speed read this thing. I didn't really prepare. I wasn't prepared to come here. Anyway, it's a no-brainer that I don't even think I should have to say a word about because it's the best use of money to use. These people already have the energy, the know-how. They've been training for the last couple of years fighting against Trump. And if you don't put people in the same room, they have to teach each other, relearn. You have to, and it's synergetic getting these groups together. We worked for Josh Harder over in District 10 and Virginia and all over the place. He won by 160 votes. I think without Sister District and Swing Left and San Francisco, I don't think we would have won. And many others. I think I've worked in politics since 1969. I started in government. I just spoke at the annual meeting in the Midwest last month, and that's still going because they give this kind of thing. And I'm done. Why should I even have to say it? I mean, it should be best use of money to trust.
Thank you. Bianca Von Creed, Vivek Brackett, Annie Gauss. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, members and district members. I'd like to take a moment to recognize that my son, who's 2 years old, is attending his first He's not paying attention. His sacrifice is that he gets to watch trains. So I'm here as a candidate for DCCC AB 17. I'm here to talk about the importance of campaign finance reform. And we as Democrats Democrats know the corrupting influence of money in politics, and that is why the DCCC in 2016 set this $500 contribution limit for individual organization. It's a very important one. It's one that we adhere to in San Francisco, running for citywide office at all times. And I think that when the DCCC fails to enforce those bylaws, then we have a problem of hypocrisy in our system. We have a problem in our local politics. Campaign finance reform is so important to me that I actually spoke at SF Ethics on campaign finance reform that raised the limit for matching funds in public financing for supervisor and mayoral races. I also asked if they include other offices such as the district attorney and sheriff's races, other citywide offices. But really what this means is that we need to do better as Democrats. We need to show that we are a party of our word, especially in San Francisco. And to that end, I'd like to suggest a couple of sanctions that might occur as a party chair, that anyone who's taken over the $500 limit has to contribute the remainder to the party or to a nonprofit, or if the chair refused to seat that person as if they're elected, if and when until they refund that money, pay the fine, and then we can all be on one point of view. Thank you very much.
Next speaker, please.
Thank you, Chair Campos. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Baldassare. I too am a candidate for the DCCC. I live in District 6, and I'm here to talk about campaign finance reform as well. And I believe that the Democratic Party should lead by example, and we should have candidates that are running for the DCCC. They should be following those $500 limits. We have over 60% of registered voters here in San Francisco that are Democrats. That's over 300,000 Democratic voters here in San Francisco. And I believe as a Democratic Party, we've got to set that example so that those 300,000 voters look up to us and they know that we are the ones that are in party of campaign finance reform. And for us to set the tone for the city, but also for the state and for the country as well. So I'm asking you all here today to, one, adhere to the $500 campaign contribution limit for the DCCC, and secondly, find mechanisms, find ways to ensure that does happen. Because even though right now it might not be enforceable, we have the power to set the example and speak for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hey everyone, I'm Christine Pelosi. I'm San Francisco's one and only DNC representative elected by the grassroots, so I am here to ask for your support. I'm honored to have support of Jim Campos, Susan Finer, though I'm still on my and the Young Democrats, the Santa Vista Democrats, and Andrew, my colleague, Andrew Blackman, who, couple of things. When I was elected as the youngest woman ever elected to the DNC from California, my first two resolutions before I even sat as a member were on campaign finance reform and superdelegate reform. Here we are these many years later, and I'm still fighting for campaign finance reform and superdelegate reform. In the past term, which some of you generously elected me to, I have reduced the role of corporate PAC money received by the DNC by over 98% by teaming up with a number of people, including the Gun Violence Prevention Committee and the anti-payday lender community, to stop the money, because most of the corporate money that was coming in was payday lenders, and it was the trade groups. It was like really thank you for smoking coming instead of coming from Smith & Wesson. It was coming from a TPA group or something like that. Anyway, that money's out. I'm running again to continue the fight, to continue reforming the party, and also to continue electing women and candidates of color and LGBTQ and working class candidates, so we can continue to change the face of Congress, the face of politics, with all of your help in the Red Blue headquarters. Last time, they made Speaker Pelosi Speaker again for the second time, with the most diverse Congress in history. We're going to do that again. We're going to do that with a Red Blue club that is going to be legal, fun, and open to all. So please support me for DNC. Thank you all very much, and pass Sarah's resolution on the CR.
Thank you. Thank you for your good work. Next speaker, please.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Democratic
speak into the mic.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, okay. So now, as we all know, the states are higher than ever, so we have to put the presidency and the Senate, so we don't get more Gorsuches and Kavanaughs. We have to keep the House blue, and there's state races too. And then before we know it, there are the 2022 midterms. So in San Francisco, we have a constant visible presence from now through at least 2022, so people realize activism is important, not just during GOP. And we need a place to welcome and coordinate those who are and have been fundraising and organizing under groups like Democracy Actions, Left, and Sister District. In 2018, people came in and directed blue, and if they wanted to call for Beto O'Rourke or Andrew Dillon, we had to send them to a phone bank elsewhere. So many ended up splitting their time between Red Blue in the Castro and Democracy Action's phone bank in Michigan. So let's make sure that regardless of the races, they want to help all Democratic volunteers have a one-stop shop to come to. I believe the Grand Central Station for San Francisco Democrats will improve unity and maximize effectiveness and collaboration for volunteers, organizers, and candidates, and the services of media coverage and public outreach. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, and I have a few more names. Bobak Estenpantiari, Alice Brown.
Good evening, members. My name is Christine Cohen. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I'm here representing the Potrero View newspaper. I'm here to speak on item 6. The Potrero View, San Francisco's longest-running neighborhood newspaper, invites SFDCCC to advertise its endorsements in community newspapers. Advertisements would optimally be placed in all 8 of the San Francisco Neighborhood Newspaper Association's member publications in advance of the March 3rd election. If we can secure a space commitment by the end of the week, and artwork by next Monday, we can accommodate additional advertisements for February. The association's 8 newspapers reach tens of thousands of voters at their doorstep, on their markets, and cafes. Readers of these newspapers tend to be civically engaged. SFDCCC would effectively reach voters throughout the city by advertising its endorsements in neighborhood newspapers the month prior to an election, when vote-by-mail ballots are arriving at our readers' doors. Right now, journalism is under attack on many fronts. But there's some good news. The Potrero View was just added to the city's legacy business registry. We joined San Francisco Bayview in receiving legacy business status. Members, I hope you will support San Francisco's local newspapers and help us keep the presses rolling. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Next speaker.
I'm going to speak really loud. All right. Yes. I have been Democrat since 1980, forever, and I've been sitting here and hearing all the things that we hear about as the Democrats. But this morning, I received an email that really put me over the top. Not that news is that great anymore. We're 5 states away from a constitutional convention. That's very scary, especially with who we have to put up with in a White House and in our state. It's very scary time. So I know we have a lot on our plate this election. So because we have to retain the House, because we need that energy. And we need to retain, we need to get the Senate, and of course we need to get rid of 45. But we But can you imagine changing, opening up to change? I mean, this is scary times, and I know we have a lot on our plate, but I think we need to become very, very active in defending these states, making sure that we don't have a constitution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all you do. Monica Urbanski, Sean Haynes. Next speaker, please. And anyone that I have called that hasn't spoken, please come on up.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Haynes, yet another candidate for our Democratic Central County Committee. I'm a returning candidate for our Democratic Central County Committee. The reason why I ran the first time is why I'm running again. And listening to everybody tonight was very inspiring. The young people spoke about campaign finance reform at a very early age, is what we want to keep this party beholden to. Many members who are for us today meant that pledge. I'm excited to be combined to that pledge myself in my own campaign. What I want to inspire people today here to do is to do something different. All the money that we put into all these different campaigns to support our candidates and our positions is great and it gets to people. What I want us to do is actually change our dynamic and touch people, reach people like we do in doors day to day. But I want us to do it a little bit more and much deeper into our community. The way that I have had to as a very low-funded candidate for our Central County community. I'm inspired by the work that I do with people I see in the street because we do a lot of work across San Francisco. The work that we do on the ground is really important, and I would love for us to shift that money that we spend on big politics in San Francisco to that direction, that engagement effort. I think that our city would be much more impacted by the people that we would be able to bring into this party if we would be able to commit to that. That is a commitment I made with my candidacy and helping to register homeless people in San Francisco. All of we know of which that we have 17,000. That is what I want all of us to commit to do. So, anybody who would be interested in joining that campaign to do that, there are a lot of places that we can take this work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one more name, Nima Rahimi. Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Rasa, and I'm here with Direct Action Everywhere. And 5 people on our organization face 8 felonies each. And the 6th person is facing fewer felonies. The felonies are multiple counts of theft, burglary, and conspiracy. Last month, the Berkeley City Council approved the Right to Rescue resolution. We are asking you to approve an abbreviated version of the same resolution. Last week, San Francisco Animal Commission of San Francisco Commission of Animal Control and Welfare unanimously approved the Right to Rescue resolution. We are now asking the San Francisco Board of Supervisors to also take up this issue and vote and hopefully approve it, hopefully unanimously. So this resolution is important because it's promoting animal rights. Animal rights is the next social justice issue. We all here feel compassion for animals, and we all here want to help animals as much as we can. I'm personally here because I feel a lot of compassion for animals, and I'll do anything possible to help animals. And we all know that in the past women couldn't vote. Somebody had to stand up and say, no, let's hold peaceful protests, let's allow these protests. And so that's what we are doing. And California law allows people to bring water to sick animals, to any impounded animal. And that's what our activists did, but they got charged with felonies. Some of them did take out sick animals, but some of them didn't. They just brought water over there, or we, the organizer of our organization, didn't touch animals, they charged with a felony. So we're asking you to just sign this resolution to ask the Sonoma County District Attorney to drop the felony charges. That's all we're asking, for her to drop the charges. So that's it.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, and I have one more card, Kristen Asado Wise. Next speaker, if your name has been called but haven't spoken, please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Just want to just say I'm just amazed by how many people are making video here. This is great. I'm just lucky if I even have like 6 on the communities I'm in. But anyways, my name is Rocky, and I am from Direct Action Everywhere. And I'm here to speak on behalf of the activists who are facing felony charges. And they, as you already know, they went to a farm in Sonoma County where they have upheld a penal code called 597E, and it should be stated in your right to rescue resolution, which criminalizes animal cruelty. And just for upholding these laws, right, they are facing multiple felony charges, as Raja stated, and they're basically treated like criminals. But I know these people, and let me tell you, these people are not criminals. These people are your occupational therapists, they are your lawyers, they are students, they are people who work in customer service, they're your constituents, and more importantly, they're my friends. And to me, you know. And I'm born and raised in San Francisco. And I'm proud over the course of my upbringing how San Francisco and the Democratic Party have been and continues to be a bastion for social justice, such as, gay marriage. When in 2004, I remember that very vividly, when in the face of public backlash, we continue to be the fierce leader in recognizing and by sparking conversation. Now gay marriage is recognized across the nation in 2015. And by supporting the Right to Rescue resolution, not only are you supporting countless of activists, not only are you helping countless of animals, but you are making a bold statement that we in San Francisco do not condone animal cruelty. We believe in the rule of law, and therefore you ought to drop the charges against these activists. And therefore I urge you to support the Right to Rescue, and thank you very much for your time and helping out.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hi, my name is Fabio Ramon, and I'm running for Central Committee in Assembly District 19 as a proud member of the grassroots slate. So I was really inspired by Member Sophie Maxwell's remarks as Speaker Pelosi's New Year's party on Sunday. Sophie said that we will win as a Democratic Party when we light the light of others and lift people up to do the work of the party. That's how the party will grow, become stronger, and better represent communities in San Francisco. However, in sitting here and listening to public comment, I realized how empty Sophie's words are to some of the current members of the Central Committee. Members who voted to institute a campaign contribution limit of $500 on the principle that they have hypocritically violated. And what's the result? That hypocrisy is blowing out the lights and chances of future leaders of the party in order to consolidate power in the hands of a very few. Chair Campos, as the chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party and the leader of the social justice slate, it is your duty to do the right thing and mandate that candidates who are leading return contributions in excess of $500. Not demanding this is hypocritical and works against everything that the Democratic Party should be working towards, which is cultivating leadership, strengthening and expanding the party, and being ethical.
Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Baird Fong, San Francisco resident, born and raised, actually fourth generation, but the first one born here. I'm actually vice president of the Chinese American Democratic Club, which was established in 1958, and I'm speaking to the bylaws opponent. As a former compliance officer for 34 years with the city, I think it's very critical to look at the language. Section 5 limits on contributions to candidates for the San Francisco DCCC, the Democratic Central Committee. No person other than a candidate shall make, and no campaign treasurer of a candidate shall solicit or accept any contribution which will cause the total amount contributed to exceed the $500 limit. So I ask every one of you here who are on a wonderful DCCC to look at this, your bylaws, and your bylaws. And we support strongly being brave and courageous and do what's right for all of our San Franciscans. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, my name is Craig Coaster, and I'm here to add my support to many others that have spoken in favor of the Democratic Volunteer Center. And I'm here representing Sister District San Francisco, which builds power in state legislatures across the country. As one of the many who've been compelled to activism since the 2016 election, I've had the opportunity to participate in a number of activist groups, including Indivisible San Francisco, as a former captain at the Volunteer Center, and now as a volunteer leader for Sister District San Francisco. And for me and many others, these groups have connected me much more deeply to my community, including in this room, and have provided me with both agency and optimism in otherwise very dark times. In my experience with these organizations, it's become very clear the importance of physical spaces in gathering and activating volunteers, creating relationships, and building power. I've participated in meetings in living rooms, in libraries, churches, in community centers, and any space that we can get our hands on. And gathering spaces are in short supply, and finding suitable spaces for group organizing is often the biggest bottleneck to activating volunteers and building organizational skill. Having a central, dedicated space for organizing and volunteerism will provide essential resources to grow existing grassroots groups, increase our ability to work in coordination and partnership with one another, and as I observed firsthand at the 2018 Refugee Center, to give newly activated volunteers a place to show up and find their place in activism. On behalf of San Francisco leadership of Sister District, I'm grateful for the leadership that this community has provided in the past to support these spaces, and I hope that you'll support this initiative to continue to support them.
Thank you very much. Next speaker. To Dawn.
My name is Angela Alexandria. This is my first time here, but I'm not new to politics or to doing activism work. I am a member of the Indivisible movement, and I'm here today representing Indivisible SF as well as Stand Up Indivisible. We want to say how grateful we are. We heard you on Sunday at Speaker Pelosi's event mentioning about the Democratic Hub, and this is something that really has us excited and is also something that we really need. I know the previous speaker said that they met in various places, we also as well, including outside in the park and on beaches or any sort of tent or canopy that we can find. But it is really a challenge for us to find places that that we can use on a regular basis. I'm not running for office, but I am running. Like many of you guys here, I'm exhausted. I mean, the last 5 days is the Women's March. We not only do a lot of the things that we listed, the canvassing, the text messaging, but we also meet with our members of Congress, staff members. And it is exhausting, and some of us have been here since day one and will continue to be so. But I think with the upcoming election, we're going to especially need that space because I feel like a lot of people who have taken a break or given up are probably going to be re-energized and probably want to step up and do something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker. Next speaker, whoever would like to come.
Hello, my name is Mike Chen, and I'm a first-time candidate for the DCCC running in 7 District 17. I'm here to protest contributions that some candidates are taking in excess of the limit prescribed in the party's bylaws. So the rules in the bylaws are pretty clear. It says that no candidate can take more than $500. But now it seems there's another set of rules, a set of unwritten rules. At least 3 current or former supervisors have taken $1,000 or more of individual contributions for their DCCC race. Current and former supervisors already have an insane advantage in name recognition and getting on the committee and getting elected. Taking money in excess of the limit in the bylaws gives elected officials yet another advantage. It gives the perception that if you are an elected official, the rules don't apply to you. And it gets worse. There are at least 2 sitting members of this committee who voted in 2016 to adopt the $500 contribution limit, who are running for another DCCC term now, and who in the last month have taken $1,000 or more in contravention of that limit. For these candidates to vote for a contribution limit, then turn around and take contributions in excess of that limit, but cynical and hypocritical. It harms trust in our party to do right in talking about campaign finance. I'm asking this committee and the San Francisco Democratic Party for clarity. Is this bylaw toothless and meaningless, and only serves to confuse and mislead first-time candidates like me? If so, I request that the party make a statement saying so, repeal the bylaws, and level the playing field for everyone. If the bylaws are supposed to mean something, I ask that this committee adopt a resolution sanctioning candidates and recognize that these transgressions of the bylaws have occurred. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yvette Bradford, and as you know, I'm a native San Franciscan, and I'm also come from an underserved community. And it was gut-wrenching to sit across in the audience and watch all of the members of the grassroots slate get up and tell every single Democratic club that our opponents in this race are bought by corporate interests. I watched Peter Galata state several times, we are only taking $500 on my state. Trust everyone on my state. We are going to stand by the rules. We are going to follow the language of social justice. And on last weekend, when we were marching to Martin Luther King Jr., it disgusts me to find out today in reading the Chronicle article that several members of this body took money. What does that mean when you're going into endorsement meetings and misleading all different types of people from all different neighborhoods across the city and saying that you're committed to someone else and saying that someone else is doing something that you are actually doing? This is not only unfair, it's undemocratic, and it's not good leadership. And our chair, Campos, you need to stand up. This is your time to stand up and do what's right. And I really would appreciate if everyone would actually do exactly what Sean Walton did. And he was actually brave to do that. He did what you turned on me. And I respect him for that.
Just one.
Next speaker, please.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for being here. My name is Katie House. I'm a San Francisco Democrat, and I too have been following the DCCC race very closely. I'll start my comment by saying that I think it's really unfortunate actually that we have so many elected officials running for DCCC. I think we all know how this plays out. They slide into office on their name ID alone. Is it good for them? Absolutely. Is it good for the Democrats? Absolutely not. And this campaign finance issue we've been talking about all night is a perfect example of why. This committee needs to ask Hillary Rodham, Sean Walton, who we just talked about your contributions, Jane Kim, Benedetti, and others, why they feel that the rules don't apply to them. I would love to know. And you should always also ask yourselves if you really feel that these are the folks that should be the standard bearers of the Democratic Party in San Francisco. Can you do better? I think the voters deserve better. So I join others in requesting that this body sanction these members. Ideally, just get them out of the race. This is not an equal race already. And I look forward to seeing the result of this. I know a lot of eyes are on this. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hi everybody, my name is Bob Atkinson, DRA. I'm a lifelong Democrat. I was a Democrat in the wake of the anti-war demonstrations in 2007 and 8, and the minute I moved to San Francisco, I made sure to update my voter registration to be a Democrat here. Like several of the other folks who came here tonight to talk about the DCCC race, I too am here to talk about that. I know I'm getting tired of it, but it's important, and the reason it's important is because people need to understand that when we say something, we mean it. And when we say that we're going to adopt a rule that says that we're going to encourage folks to stay underneath $500, and we're going to go out and market that to the nines, telling everybody that this is to limit the influence of corporations in politics, this is to limit the influence of big industry and other big groups, to limit hoteliers and other groups, then we turn around and violate that rule, even if it's toothless and can't be enforced. That still people go and market themselves one way and then go around and do the opposite. It cuts to the core of whether or not we have integrity as a party and as activists, and it takes away some of that integrity. And the other thing I want to highlight is that people, several of my friends, Nadia, AJ, Mike, these folks who are running for this body, they're doing it because they want to make the city a better place, but they also just want to make the party a better place. They want to get rid of Trump. I know we all agree on the big picture items when it comes to the party, but when we see this stuff happen over and over again, the misleading, the lying, the saying one thing and doing the other, all it does is it discourages people. It makes people go, why the hell should I bother trying again? And then they walk out, they walk away, they become the party preference, and they ditch the Democratic Party. And down the line, more and more people start to say that the parties are the same, that the GOP is just as bad as the Democrats, and the Democrats are just as bad as the GOP. And it all gets muddled. And then we lose clarity. And so, like everyone else here, I'm calling for the party and the party chair to do the right thing, to urge these other candidates to refund the money or do something else and donate it to groups. Thank you so much, and please do the right thing.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hi there, my name is Henny Kelly, and I worked very hard to get a bylaws change on this body to limit that the donations to $500. Hell, I never got $500. Oh no, that's a lie. My husband gave me $500. He felt that it was worth giving me $500. All right, so let's hear it. Democratic hub space. Democratic hub space. Red and blue rent fund. Red and blue rent fund. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Denise Urbanski, and I live in Illinois in District 11. And, when Donald Trump was elected, I was also in shock, and I decided it must be time to do something more than read my ballot and go to the voting box. And so I didn't know what to do. And I went to the parades, it was the Women's March. I was amazed at the diversity of people, the diversity of issues that were there, that there wasn't, and how all those people came together to support each other, support the other people's issues. That was really important. I found my way to red and blue at some point. They never through phone banking, didn't quite know what to do. And they also welcomed me in. They were so positive in the way they approached how you call somebody. And you don't fight with them, you just tell them what you think. And I found my way to started San Francisco, started going to those meetings. And they meet monthly with their members of Congress. We actually go to Feinstein College, we go to Citizen College. And they give us a chance. And we found out so much more than we knew before. So I really want to support the volunteer vote because I think it's really important for people like me, who've never been to a meeting like this before, to have a place to go and say, hey, what can I do? Can I help? And everybody can come in and support each other and share their superpowers. Their superpower is being big on the phone, canvassing, and comfortable acting out with tech for some group that needs it. It's wonderful. And I think people like me really need a place to go where they can get what can I do? And I think I'm ready.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
Hi folks, my name is Nima Rahimi. I'm also running for DCCC 17. I'm not here to throw grenades. I've got a lot of friends on this board on both sides of the aisle. Shimon, I support you in your race. I'm a big fan of yours. And I'm the first generation immigrant here, right? My parents are Iranian American. Our family's big economic break was when my dad got a job at the U.S. Postal Service. Union job, union wages, union benefits, and when my mom got cancer and lost her job and she didn't care, it was his health care that saved us. It's not easy running for office. Nobody knows who I am. And I don't have a big bank account. I got a 6-figure law school debt. Lawyers don't even know what that's like. And raising this money is hard. Getting my name out there is hard. And this rule is an important rule, and I've stuck with it. And I think it's only fair that the folks that have the advantages in this race with the name ID that are already elected, that already have a platform, that are already doing good work. Stick to the rule too. And I like Henry's suggestion, the godmother of our party here. All right, let's donate that money to the Democratic Hub Space, to the Red and Blue Red Fund. It's the right thing to do, and that's what we're about. We're a big family. I know we fight a lot, but we're a big family, and we got to work together to get Trump out. So let's use that money for good. I appreciate your time and love you all.
Next speaker.
Everyone, my name is Amira.
Oops, the mic got off. There you go.
And I'm one of the fellow independents, so I'm facing close to a decade in prison, not a U.S. citizen, might also be deported. So it's an interesting time, but a lot of people talk about me, they talk about John, who's facing felonies, but what people don't talk about is that a lot of the other people who spoke, they've been arrested in his actions too. Sanjeev over there, he lives in Daly City, was arrested. Matthew and Alicia, who live in San Francisco, were arrested. Rocky was arrested. All these people have put their bodies on the line to help some of the most vulnerable people, individuals in our planet. And when you're thinking about what are these farms and where are these animals going, like these are Whole Food suppliers, these are Costco suppliers, these are organic chicken suppliers. This is not something that doesn't affect San Francisco. The people who want to buy the best animal products, they go to these stores, they think they're getting a better deal, but they're not. I've literally held in my arms dead bodies of chickens who we picked off the floor of a Whole Foods cage-free egg farm that had cages. That's being sold in San Francisco, lying to the public. And so a lot of people wonder, why is this a San Francisco issue? This is a Sonoma County prosecution. It's a San Francisco issue because these people live in San Francisco, they're facing charges too, and because the people of San Francisco are being duped into doing something that doesn't align with San Francisco's values. So thank you all for your support.
Hi, my name is Kristen Asato Webb. Thank you for your time. I think this is a really important part of the meeting where the public can come and comment and speak truth to power. I also believe that, the Democratic Party, it needs leaders that will step up and rise above. Because we can just say, okay, we're gonna do the bare minimum, we're gonna just comply. But that's where, because of that kind of mentality is where we are today. The reason why I got into politics is because I lost my sister to breast cancer. She passed away at the age of 28 before the Affordable Care Act was signed into law. I understand how dysfunctional a system can be because of neglect, because of want for money, and want for power. We need to hold the DCCC accountable to their $500 limit that they voted on. We need leaders that will stand up to that, regardless of whether or not it is a law in the state of California. We need leaders in the Democratic Party that are ready to make change for the better. That's the kind of person, that's the kind of body that I want to see on this committee. And I hope that all of you will hold the people accountable that are accepting the contributions over the $500 limit, and either choose to not seek them or ask them to return the money. Because what we need out of this body is action. And I really hope to see that later tonight.
Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Emily Romero, and I am an activist with Direct Action Everywhere, and I'm here to speak on behalf of some of the people I hold really close to my heart who are facing decades in prison for helping sick and dying animals. I was there the day that they all got arrested. We went to a Whole Food supplier, which is one of the highest animal welfare ratings. This farm, the highest animal welfare standards. We found baby birds who were decaying dead on the floor, birds who couldn't even walk, birds who were drowning in their own feces, birds who couldn't access food or water. And this is marketed at some of the highest animal welfare standards in San Francisco. And I just want to ask you all, what is the value of life, and why is that value, that intrinsic value, only applied to puppies and and kittens and humans, but if we were doing this, what has been done to those birds, to puppies and kittens, the world would be in an uproar. But why is it acceptable to do it to farm animals? So I just want to ask you, these are some of the kindest people I know. They genuinely want to help the city and animals, and they don't deserve to go to prison just for helping sick and dying animals. So I'm asking this committee to please vote in favor of the right to rescue and to please denounce these felony charges against my friends. Thank you.
Thank you. And if there's any member of the public who has not spoken who would like to speak, please come on up. You're still welcome to speak, notwithstanding the X.
Good evening. My name is Brian Kwan. I'm a resident of the Richmond District. I'm following the recent local election news and was alerted to the fact that these campaigns were receiving donations that exceeded the limits. During a time in which we sorely need to put greater faith in the rules that govern the social contract in which we participate in, I wanted to speak about the impression this gives to the public. Too many already believe that the system is rigged against them. To maintain the trust of our public officials, our leaders should be setting a better example. As an Essex native, I've seen how rough and tumble politics can be in a city that we all love. Therefore, I hope the DCCC can uphold this higher standard to give all candidates a fair and equal opportunity to represent the future of our party here. Thank you.
Is there any other member of the public who would like to speak? Seeing none, public comment is closed. On a particular issue on the agenda, or? Again, there is a response to the comment. If you want to add an item to the agenda, you can do that, but you can basically speak on the items that are on the agenda. Ask one. So if you like to speak to a comment, yes, go ahead.
He says, I voted in support of the $500 cap rule in DCCC fundraising when it was put forward by members Hector Dancy and former member Latina Gupta. I appreciate members Mandelman, Maxwell, Campos, and Kim who also voted in favor of this resolution. We all know that contributions for elected officials will be far more substantial than those new running to the DCCC, which has historically been a mechanism to honor emerging political leaders, cultivating the Democratic Party pipeline. I support the spirit of what the grassroots candidates are working to achieve, and I urge those who have taken over $500 in contribution limits to adhere to the body's bylaws by returning that money. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move on to item number 5, which is officer reports, and I know that we have a number of items on the agenda, so I'm going to try to keep it short. I'll begin with mine. And I simply want to use this as an opportunity to introduce to all of you Karima Lynch, and I'm going to turn the floor to her so she can say a few words and introduce herself to you. But what I would say is this: we had an open, competitive search. We had some pretty incredible candidates. And Karima is an immigrant from France, and I think that growing up as a Muslim woman in France, there are challenges that come with that, and her involvement in politics dates back to France. And through her appointment, she's becoming the first Muslim to become head of executive director of this party. And I'm very honored and proud to have the opportunity to work with her. So with that, I'm going to turn it to Karima so that she can say a few words.
Thank you very much, David. You're going to make me cry. No, I just wanted to say
to be here. I'm happy to be on board. I can't wait to meet all of you, to get to work. I think this year, No Brainer is a big year for us, and I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to do more. So I'm really excited to meet all of you and to see what you have to offer. And I will bring my work, bring my sweat, everything. And I hope I didn't mess the folders and everything before my first meeting.
And on that note, I want to say that Karima actually had to transition from her current employer and family obligations, but she still volunteered her time, even though her first day is next Monday, to staff this meeting tonight. So thank you, Karima. Now, we'll go over to our finance chair does not have a report. Voter registration, member Brown.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I would like to just always thank you back really glad. I have worked on voter registrations and and I'm really proud of the work that I've done. I think by the record you can tell that each week, both the time I give out my phone number as well as my email address and ask for help for voter registration. So I want to challenge all the folks who have come here and who have expressed so much enthusiasm, to put some of that enthusiasm towards the voter registration efforts. And if it's personal, if you all work with me, I have a great organization to recommend, and that would be SF Rising. SF Rising has done a lot of great work. They have registered a lot of voters here in the city. A lot of those folks are folks who represent disenfranchised communities. So please, if it's not me, at keithbrock@gmail.com. Please reach out to sfrising.org. You can sign up through their website as a volunteer. I'm sure that you can use their help and getting folks registered. As you know, we have a big election this year. So we need each and every one of you to come out and register voters. Voter registration is fundamental to what we do. So if you want to talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. Alright? Please help us register voters. And if not just here in San Francisco, we would love to organize some events outside of San Francisco. And some of the areas that really could use more impact. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to hear from Member Arquois on, oh yes, Member Wiener. Mike right there.
I'm just curious, Keith, how we're doing towards getting to the 300,000 goal, so we can send another vote for Christine and Dr. Lockman. Once we break 300,000 Democrats, we can actually see on the executive board. So
I encourage you to come out, Matthew. Have you been to a voter registration this year or the last few years? That means you too. Okay? Please help. Yes, come out. Yes, you can't encourage others. You have to come out as well, all right? Thank you. We could do, I think we're about, what did we say, 15,000 short? Yeah. Yeah, so it's not that much.
Okay, San Francisco, 15,000. We can do it, and Matthew and I and others will be there. So we'll do that. Now we'll hear from Member LaPont.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to step away so we can feedback. I'm the Vice Chair of Outreach for the SFDCCC, and I also want to do kind of like a tag team situation with my colleague Keith was saying. We have about 6 weekends left until the March primary, and we have additional candidates that we endorse, and ballot measures that we endorse, and so I am taking a moment to just really reach out to each and every one of you, my colleagues on this wonderful body, as well as members of the audience, to join us in doing outreach to our community with our slate card for our judicial candidates and our ballot measures. After the election cycle, I will email and text and bug you until everyone here has signed up for at least 1 to 2 voter engagement sessions. So I look forward to seeing you guys out
Thank you very much. And I know that our treasurer is not here, but we do have a financial report if anyone has any questions. And one thing that I would say that we have been very proud of is the fundraising that we've done in our state fund. As you can see, there are substantial funds. But the one thing that is an ongoing challenge for us is always the federal account. To anyone who's a member of this committee, who's watching, who's here, if you can make an individual contribution, those individual contributions can actually go directly to the federal account, and so that's always something that can be very helpful in our efforts to move forward. So with this, I will now, unless there are any questions, I'm going to turn it to our Vice Chair for Partnerships, Member Maxwell. But before I do that, I just want to note a couple of things. First of all, with the election of the man in the White House, and I don't really want to mention his name, one of the things that happened is the energizing and mobilization of so many different people and so many different organizations, swing left, being one of them, but so many. And we felt that it was really important for this body to have a special relationship with those entities, with those groups. And one of the first things that I did after being elected as chair was to make sure that we created a position for someone who was an officer in this body, a member of the executive committee, to work exclusively in those relationships. I'm very proud of that position, and I'm especially proud that the person that we automatically thought of as being the key person to be able to do that was Sophie Maxwell. And so that's why I want to make that, because I appreciate everyone being here, and I want you to know that this is a very important thing for this body and for those of us who have been serving in the last few years. And Red to Blue was a direct outcome working with Speaker Pelosi. But I just want to put that on the record because I think that many people don't get that. We did that, and thank you, Sophie Maxwell, for all the work. So with that, I'll turn it over to Member Maxwell.
Thank you, and thank all of us for all of our work. As you can see, things are gearing up, and we are going to do more than what we did in 2018. We're going to shock everybody. This is going to be an amazing time. And with that, I've expanded my strategic partnership into a committee. And that committee is with the people that you've seen today, you've seen tonight. It's with Swing Left, it's with Democracy Now!, it's with Ladies of the Resistance, and I just love to say that. And so 3 of my members are here tonight. Pam Card, who you heard mentioned, Shannon Fitzgerald, and of course, Alec Bash, and Peter Galata. Thank you so much, Peter, for everything he's on the committee. And so is Adam Mehes, and any of you who want to be, are certainly, we need all the help we can get. Thank you. So with that, committee members, thank you.
Would you like us to speak in a microphone?
Yes,
I'm hearing the golden voice.
Yes, because we are being live streamed, and for folks that are watching at home, let's help us.
Hi, my name is Pam Hart. This is Shannon Fitzgerald and Alec Bash, and we are part of Sophie Maxwell's Strategic Partnership Committee. And we're here to talk about opening a Democratic volunteer hub in San Francisco. We understand that we face a big challenge, but an even greater opportunity in 2020 and 2022. Together, we can elect Democrats at a state and national level, including a Democratic president. In 2018, many of us in this room were part of a great experiment called the Red to Blue office. Alec, Shannon, and I were all part of that. Alec was integral in the setup and running of the space, as well as running front desk and the infrastructure. Shannon and I were both phone bank captains, and we worked with hundreds of volunteers, training them and making sure that they were as efficient and effective as possible. In the 2 months that Red to Blue was open, These temporary headquarters housed 3,000 volunteers who called for 20 congressional districts and flipped 16 of them. Since 2016, San Francisco's appetite for volunteering for democratic values has skyrocketed. Every week, the resistance group volunteers donate hundreds of hours to calling for democratic candidates and policies nationwide. You've heard some of them today. The work of democracy happens all year long now, even in off-election years. And we feel that we need to harness this energy and that we need to support these volunteer efforts and we think that that is through infrastructure and resources. And that's why we're looking to open a space for the democratic community. The space will provide the infrastructure and resources needed to house a political hub, headquarters, and working space, of course, for the San Francisco Democratic clubs, resistance groups, organized labor, and volunteers. We plan to open as soon as possible and remain open through the 2022 midterm election. Woo!
This space's goal is to unify and amplify the energy of San Francisco's democratic community by acting to elect state and national democratic candidates through phone and text banking, canvassing, postcard and letter writing, and as San Francisco's 2020 and 2022 election volunteer headquarters. Growing our community through voter registration drives, voter outreach, events, volunteer signups, resulting volunteering, strengthening our community through fundraisers, debate watch parties, and conferences, organizing our community through cross-group coordination, communication, analytics, strategy, and feedback groups, and finally educating our community through trainings, talks, and candidate meetups.
And we're here to talk about this because this idea works. There are other similar places around the state, and some examples of that. The California Democratic Party is open funding and fundraising for 12 county grassroots hubs, like we're talking about here. All over LA, there are incredible volunteer groups who have actually funded, open, and kept running in similar volunteer single-state grassroots hubs like we're talking about here. At these hubs, there will be meetings, there will be fundraisers, there will be phone banking, texting, postcarding, whatever else you might want to do, also training the volunteers. They have part of the organization meetings, and as you've heard from other people, that's an important thing to handle. Our aim is to fund the space through individual donors, fundraisers, and the campaign SLED, with which I've had a great deal of experience in the past. But we also need your help. We would like to be fit to participate in the same ways against the U.S. office a couple years ago. This was a good use of DFID lawyers and accountants as needed, as we are currently doing for CLEC and a very successful program in the Central Valley. Also funding the shared office space with the San Francisco Games and what's being called leaders, electors, helping us with fundraising planning and training this year. And we'd like to urge support for the resolution on your agenda under item 10, and would ask that you amend the resolution slightly in order to include state legislatures, as once those places who audit has those referred to state legislatures are very important, and we need to sit with many of those. We do not need a Republican-controlled constitution convention. Thank you for your time, and we would be pleased to answer your questions. Item 10, and as I recall, it would be in the first of the resolutions, but I don't have it in front of me this time. Perhaps somebody could.
I would suggest that we make that amendment to that item.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Colleagues, thank you, and that concludes my report. We've been meeting for weeks now, and we have a lot more work to do, but we're moving, so thank you very much.
The only suggestion that I have, and I know that hopefully will pass item 10, is that we are working with state leaders, including the Senate Pro Tem, Tony Atkins. We're helping her in some of the swing Senate districts in the state. So I think that once the resolution passes, that we should also reach out to them to see if they have any way of helping us fund, or at least partially fund. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I think that concludes our officer reports, and we'll move on to item number 6, which is an item that I've asked to put on the agenda, which is an update on the request. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Oh, Penny Kelly. Penny, do you have a report? My apologies.
I have a report. I knew you were skipping.
My apologies. I think someone said the godmother of the San Francisco Democratic, so my apologies.
Well, hello. My name is Penny Kelly, and I'm the Region 6 Director for the Democratic Party. And we are having an e-board, as you all know, and that e-board is in where? Visalia. So when I go to this e-board, I'm going to bring challah for everybody who joins the Dem 2020. And I'm going to bring half of them are going to be regular challahs. They're going to be small like that. I just did those. And half of them are going to have raisins because, you know, we're going to bring coal to Newcastle, raisins to Visalia. What I'd like you to know is that anybody here who is not a member of DEM 2020, you can take one of these, and if you give it to me before you leave, I will make sure that you will get a challah and my love forever. Now, the reason I'm doing this, and some of you may not know, is because the Democratic Party took $100,000 from Jewel. And they took a lot of money from a thing called Advance America. And I thought that was a really nice group that helped people, but it was a payday lender. And I got up and said, give it back. And they gave it back, and they told me I had to make up the difference. Well, they didn't, but somebody did. So I made up the difference, and I only raised a few $1,000s, but we are changing the Democratic Party. They will not take that money. And that is important. We have to remember we have to make people do the right thing. And only you can make them do the right thing. So what I want to do is if you want to get one of these and you give $5 a month, you'll get a challah from me. I also want to say that we are having a Region 6 meeting. It is going to be at the IBEW 617 in San Mateo, because I go from Santa Clara to San Francisco, in San Mateo, and it's 1721 Leslie Street in San Mateo, but I'm going to give you all of that. And that's going to be on February 9th, and it's going to be from 10 to 12. I will be serving challah, and I might churn some butter so that you can pick on challah too. But the reason we're doing that is because you can do two things, and even if you're not going to the e-board, you can be effective. You can suggest legislation that the legislative committee will either before or against, because sometimes being against a bad bill is even more important than being for a good bill. And you can also put a resolution for what you want the Democratic Party to do. And those are all due on February 19th at 5 p.m. And I will be resolutions and your legislation. Thank you very much.
What's the date of the e-board?
The date of the e-board is March 20th to 22nd. And it is, I said it is in Visalia. And we found a Union Hotel. And we have a Union Convention Center. And I think that's real important. And it also is taking us into that Central Valley where we really want to do a lot of good for
Thank you.
That's a good question. The executive board, the Democratic Party has Democratic County Central Committees. We have delegates to the to the conventions. But then we have another group of people that are on the executive board of the party. And we do a lot of the work. And we have 2 to 3 meetings a year and 1 convention a year. And that's what we are, the party leaders. So there.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 6, which is an update on the request for proposals for issuance of slate mail program contract. This is for the March 3rd election. And simply, I was just we sent an email notifying the committee that we were issuing an RFP, a request for proposals, that is essentially the same RFP that we issued the last time we had a competitive process for selecting a vendor to oversee our mail program for the election. We issued that. We received 1 response, which was actually the same vendor that we had previously selected, MJE, which is a women-run business. They actually did an excellent job for us in the last election. And so unless there's any objection, we're going to proceed with the process that we followed before. There was a committee of folks that had been working on this. And simply, unless there's any objection, my recommendation would be that we simply proceed to issue the contract to this vendor so that they can put together our program for the March election.
So moved.
Second. So we have a motion by Galata, second by Alioto. Can we take that without objection? Without objection. Thank you, and we again look forward to working with MJE for the March election. Now we'll move on to item number 7, and that is the resolution to support the right to rescue non-human animals and for the dismissal of charges against animal rights advocates. And this is a resolution that was introduced by Member Bryant as well as Member Brock. And I would simply ask Member Bryant to add my name as a co-sponsor. And with that, I'll turn it forward to Member Bryant.
So I am really appreciative of Jordan Davis for her leadership on this, and if it wasn't for Jordan, it couldn't have happened. So I want to thank her very much, and I do want to thank the members of the committee, because I know it's been a long meeting, and I also want to thank DXC members for coming here today. This is a group that I've actually been supporting for over a year, but calling them mostly through emails and other actions. And I just want to say really, really quickly that, I became a vegan about 2 years ago. And the reason I did it was the animal welfare. I was a long-time vegetarian, really strict for a while, then not so strict, and a pescatarian, but then I became a vegan. And the only reason is the animal welfare. I don't have enough discipline to not eat meat. And I didn't even eat chocolate from Christine Pelosi, so just so you know. But I don't know if there's any other concerns or things to raise, but I just wanted to say that I would really appreciate DCCC passing this resolution, as we talked about, criminalization of basically social justice work, and I think as a body we want to we want to go on the record against that, and along with the city of Berkeley.
Thank you.
I'd like to co-sponsor.
So actually, anyone who would like to co-sponsor, please raise your hand so that we can see. So remember Alioto, Lowe, Jesus, Mahogany, Maxwell, LaCroix, Baraka, Mandelman, Sousa, Alexander as well. And I want to thank all the folks that came out and speak on this. I'm an animal lover myself, and there is that quote from Gandhi that the greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. And so by that measure, we still have some ways to go. So we have a motion on this resolution, motion by Maxwell, seconded by Alioto. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. That is member Shea. Any abstentions? Feinstein, Pelosi, Spear, and Kanawakis. So the motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we move on, I see someone in the audience, former member of this body, Dr. Fatima Gupta, who is here. We're trying to welcome her back. She has decided to move back to San Francisco, but whatever it is, it's good to see you, Dr. Gupta. We miss you. Now we'll move on to item number 8, which is the resolution to urge the U.S. Congress to defend the Community Reinvestment Act, CRA. Resolution by members Sousa and Galata, and turn to member Sousa.
Thank you. I'm really excited to introduce this resolution because I think it's important that as a party with values, democratic values, we must stand for racial justice issues and also advocate for economic equity. Currently, the Trump administration is proposing to dismantle a civil rights law that's focused on address redlining and equitable reinvestment in communities of color. And it's our duty as Democrats to urge the Congress to take action in protecting this law that's so important for our community to ensure that we all have access to home ownership, small business, community development, and that we all have a pathway to economic security. So I hope to count on you to co-sponsor my resolution and to build awareness around this because this is going to be a long-term fight to ensure that we are all treated equal and that we are promoting a more just society.
Thank you. Speaker Pelosi and then member Alioto.
On behalf of Speaker Pelosi, I just want to say that San Francisco and Bay Area have benefited significantly from the Community Reinvestment Act. She will be supporting it and she will
Excellent. Okay, so anyone who wants to be a co-sponsor, please raise your hand. And I just want to shoot for the record, members Brian, Hughes, Alioto, Lowe, Mahogany, Maxwell, Walton, LaCroix, Mandelman, Baraka, yes, Spear, Chu, Ma, my apologies, and Pelosi and Jung and Campos. Thank you. So can we get a motion on this resolution? Motion by Alioto? Oh yes, member Baraka.
I want to thank Member Sousa for bringing this up. I think that one of the things that I remember most about a certain vice presidential candidate came to one of our conventions and said that home ownership really is what strengthens the middle class. And too often, or our history is such that a large swath of our communities have been left out of that. And that's one of the reasons why we have one of the worst wealth disparities in the industrialized nation. So I adamantly support this. Thank you very much for your work on this.
Thank you. Any other comments? Motion by Alioto, seconded by Jesus. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Say no. Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it forward. The next resolution is a resolution opposing war with Iran. And again, this is a resolution that's been put forward by Member Sousa, Galata, and I'm proud to co-sponsor. Member Sousa.
Thank you. Again, I think that it's our moral duty to condemn this war and ensure that this administration is abiding by constitutional rights and ensuring that they are listening to the people and that we're no longer spending more. We should spend in our education, infrastructure, housing, equitable policies that will empower our community. No more wars. And I'll let Peter add to whatever you want to say.
I think you said.
Speaker Pelosi.
While Speaker Pelosi will be abstaining from this item, that she has been very diplomacy, especially on this issue. The House passed the Iran power diplomacy a couple of weeks ago, and additionally, the House will be passing the autonomy resolution next week.
Do we have a motion on this resolution? Oh, sorry, Member Chang?
So, I appreciate the sentiment of this resolution very much. Obviously, I've been on the DCCC for 20 years this spring, and it's the first time a resolution about Iran has come up. So, it's obviously time because of what's happening. But I also want to note for the record, many of us looking around the room have been to the Middle East. In fact, the privilege of maybe going to Israel or Jordan or Egypt or many of the other countries in the area. And one of the things that, if you have been on the ground out there and you know a little bit about the controversial, long-standing conflicts out there, you know that it's extremely complicated. That's a very short way of summing up a very difficult situation. But one of the things that came to light because of the Soleimani killing and the subsequent airstrikes and the tension that rose to almost a hot war, because we have been in the Cold War since 1979 with the country of Iran, is the fact that, and it wasn't widely publicized, the fact that the country of Iran, the regime that is now in control by the clerics and the mullahs, they are a very repressive regime. They have, in the last year, they have killed 1,500 people by outside accounts, jailed 4,500 people over protests for wider civil rights within their country, wider rights for women, for LGBTQ, for
Push the power.
Okay, so
there you go.
I just want to make sure that this is part of the record for tonight, because as much as we are against the conflict in the Middle East, there are significant issues of this regime to create a land bridge that will go through Iraq and through Syria and through Lebanon, right through Israel, right to the Mediterranean. And Hezbollah, which is a known proxy for Iran, has stated that they have missiles that can strike every part of Israel. Israel is a country that obviously is very important to many of us. And it's a very complicated situation. They have been very belligerent as of late. I'm talking about Iran with many very provocative actions against the United States and our allies, which resulted in the death of an American contractor, a service member, who's out there looking into American interests. And while I don't condone the action of our administration, I just want to make it on the record that this is not a black and white issue. They are belligerent. Their government is run by a group of belligerent people who want to see a lot of harm come to a lot of allies that are in the region. And we should not be so naive as to believe that there is a clear black and white side here. It's very difficult, and I just want that to be on the record because I know that we're for peace, but that means all parties need to be for peace, not just one. So there may be conflicts coming up in the very near term, and our country may be asked to respond. And I would like for all of us to think about the service members who are serving our country. That is their job, to be deployed out in harm's way. And how do we think about them and how we want to protect their interests as well as our values. Thank you.
Any comments? May I simply note that if belligerence and oppressive regimes is the standard, then I think that there are other countries that we could be talking about, whether it's Russia or some of the other countries that this administration has been playing footsie with. The question was not whether or not this is a democratic regime, clearly going to war with this regime. And I think in making this declaration, we're most definitely thinking about the servicemen and women whose lives will be on the line to do that. Member Bryan.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm going to vote for this resolution. I stand in strong support of it, and I just want to say that I'm doing this as a Jewish person, that I want to promote this, and I think that that this is a very important resolution.
Members here. And Member Bryan.
So, I intend to vote for the resolution tonight with Congressman Spear that the concern that she has always had about all presidents, but this one in particular, is that the power to go to war rests with Congress, and that this president, of all presidents, disrespects that particular power. She sits on the Armed Services Committee, and in fact, she is the chair of the subcommittee for military personnel. So she certainly understands the welfare of the troops quite well, because that's what institution is. But this president, more than any, risks getting us into fights that are not ours to fight, and risks using military force in fact also. This is a very difficult situation for the Middle East, and there's no question that all of Iran's intentions toward us at the moment are hostile. But that doesn't mean that that's the first thing that you do is go to war. You also have to have two tracks, diplomacy and war. And if he hadn't pulled out of the nuclear deal to begin with, then arguably he would be going down a different path at this point. So I get on behalf of Congressman Stan, we would vote for this. Thank you.
I am as concerned about the belligerent people in charge of our government as I am about the belligerent people in charge of the Iranian government. And to that point, our government has been doing everything it possibly can to provoke the Iranian regime, which is not a good regime. But
Use the mic because it's being taped. Can't hear you there.
Can you try? Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
This particular president has no opportunity to provoke the Iranian government and to push them away from agreements that the prior administration, our Democratic administration, had negotiated that showed a path toward potentially a better situation in the Middle East. And so it's been 3 years now of unraveling the potential basis for stability in the Middle East, and is another reason why we need to get rid of the current
Any other comments? Can we have a motion?
Co-sponsor.
So moved.
Before we do the motion, anyone who would like to co-sponsor, please raise your hand. Brian, Jesus, Alioto, Lowe, Heidi, Maxwell, Walter, Lacroix, Baraka, Mandy, Rock, Campos. Motion in support. Motion by Alioto, seconded by Galata. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So Speaker Pelosi, Senator Feinstein. Thank you very much.
Koulakis.
Oh, and Koulakis. It passes. Thank you very much for bringing it forward.
Thank you.
Now we'll move on to item number 10. This is my phone.
Yeah. Can you turn it? It might be off, David. Is it on? Do you want me to speak on this? Okay. All right. Oh. Hello? Is this on? Is this on?
Something wrong
Yes.
with the
Hello? Howard? Hello?
Supervisor. Item number 10.
All right, we're on. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Supervisor Maxwell, for tapping me in to bring this one home tonight. But I just want to acknowledge Supervisor Maxwell's leadership over the past 3-4 years, particularly in bringing everybody together, being the liaison with many of the groups that are here tonight, with the Speaker and Team Pelosi, and just being the glue that's brought this together and made Red to Blue SF such a success, along with the partners that were here tonight. It takes a village And we showed that it's possible, and we're going to do it again. And I think we heard that tonight. So I just want to acknowledge and thank again Speaker Pelosi, Team Pelosi, for their partnership, Susan Pfeiffer, Alec Bash, everybody on the committee, our partner groups, and for those who came tonight, who this was your first meeting, we welcome you. We look forward to working with you, and you always have a home here with us. And we're excited to make a formal home for all of us here in San Francisco. And the time is now, and I agree. I specifically just want to say for those who called out the challenge of finding space, we actually as a party experienced that challenge. It was hard for us to even find a space for our meeting tonight. So we are all in this challenge of finding a place, and we have an opportunity to create a place for all of us to gather, to organize, to resist in 2020. I'm excited about that prospect. I think we all agree we need to do that. And I will just, to echo what's exciting is that we also want to go bigger than what we did before, and just, focusing on the congressional swing districts was important, and we did that work, and now we have the opportunity, I think, to do more. The state races, Senate races, we want to tackle those as well. And so I want to just acknowledge the feedback to amend the resolution and bring forward a motion to amend the resolution to just add that fact in the third paragraph in the third whereas clause, after winning a Democratic majority in the Senate, that we add flipping state legislatures and electing a Democrat as president. So that's the amended language, unless there's any other amendments, but I will make a motion to amend the resolution as described.
By the clock, can we take that amendment without objection? Without objection. So on the amended resolution, if we can have a motion to approve, motion by LaCroix, second by Alioto. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Can we add
Oh, yes. Co-sponsors, please raise your hand.
And Alexander too, please.
Brian, Jesus, Alexander is a co-sponsor, I think, for most of the ones that have gone forward. Alioto, Lowe, Mahogany, LaCroix, Walton, Sousa, Campos, Mandolin. So, once again, we have a motion on the resolution as amended. So, motion by Alioto, seconded by Lowe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We look forward to doing it, and the one thing that I would ask is if we're on the lookout for spaces. If you know any different spaces out there, please make sure you contact us. So now let's move on to item number 11, which is new business. I don't see any new business, but before we, yes.
May I ask for this committee to get a presentation on Census 2019 for the next meeting?
Happy to have that on.
Great.
Member Francis Chang? No, that's it? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Before we do that, there is a request, and I'll turn the floor to Member Alioto. A number of us were already intending to do this. This is to adjourn the meeting in the memory of a very special and important public servant. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Member Alioto.
Thank you very, very much, Chair. It's really difficult to describe the incredible friendship of a town throughout the years. From the first, even before we were elected together in November of '88, and served together until I think '95 and '96. And our legislation, we did incredible legislation. It was always Terrence, me, and Sue Bierman. And Sue Bierman was just incredible, and Terrence was incredible, because Terrence had the kind of friendship and character of loyalty that you just don't see. I mean, he was there for you every time. And if you had any issue with the specific issue, like the smoking ban we did together, and a lot of, I'd say most of the HIV zero positive work that we did, and the AIDS epidemic generally, was all Terrence and Sue Bierman and me, and then when the Lavender Wave came through in '92, we had a lot of help, and it was a lot easier because before that, there were a couple of conservative people on the board that made everything difficult in life. We lost the smoking ban on the first vote, and then we did it again and won it. And beating the tobacco industry wasn't easy, but Terrence is such a fighter, and such a good guy. Always loyal, always a team player, someone that you knew you could count on, or if you differed in opinion, you knew he'd come and talk to you. And that's so important in elected officials and so important in the teamwork that we did. We did legislation that was everything from the needle exchange to people being able to visit. You remember, we were just in the middle of the legislation for the AIDS epidemic. And so we had so much to do where it involved people's families and emotions and being able to visit people in the hospital. If you were not related, you couldn't go in. Well, Terrence and I and Sue literally went to hospitals. We did everything we could do to show that not only were we not afraid, but we were going to legislate this and we were going to win, and we were going to go to Washington, D.C. for Ryan White money, which we did, and we received more Ryan White money for the AIDS epidemic than any city in this nation. And it's because of the kind of advocacy of a Terrence Hallinan. So I'm going to miss him dearly, but his legacy lives on, and his legacy will always live on as a fighter and as someone who got the job done for the city that he loved very, very much. So thank you very much for adjourning in honor of my good friend Terrence.
Thank you very much, Member Alioto. I don't know if anyone else would like to say any other words. Personal note, I think that beyond the accomplishments and the professional achievements, which are many to me, in my interaction with Mr. Hallinan, who was always such a gentleman, such a